Welcome back to Ron's Radio Corner. And usually, before I do a video on a radio, I try to spend a little bit of time with it. And I don't want to say put it through its paces, but at least get familiar enough with it where I feel like I've done my due diligence in using the radio so I can talk about the radio. Um, in this case, I kind of feel that's not true. And part of the problem is I really don't like this radio, but I don't know if that's fair. So what this is, it's the Senior compact rechargeable FM Bluetooth USB radio. Um, right out of the gate, I think one of the things that I don't like about this radio is is my fault. I didn't pay enough attention when I picked it up. Um, I assumed it was an AM FM radio. It's FM only, and I thought it had a built-in clock. So I thought it would be kind of a cool little travel radio, and it doesn't. Um, this goes for about $19, 19.99, so $20 on Amazon. Um, I picked it up because when I got it, I was able to grab it, and I thought, oh, it's little travel clock radio might be a cool thing. And the photo on Amazon definitely is a bit misleading because it looks like it's a clock radio. With the two dots separating the hour from the minute. But this has no built-in clock, and then it doesn't have AM, um, and so that's already sort of some strikes against it, in my view. Um, the next thing is I tend to listen to NPR in the morning, and so there's a particular channel I listen to, and I tend to judge radios about how well do they come in. And I've said this on some other videos that I tend to use radios without extending the antenna. Um, I mean, I do if I have to, but my first judge of how well a radio pulls in a station is how well does it do it without me having to do anything with the antenna mast. And it probably is a throwback to my childhood when it was very easy to find that you had broken the antenna because you had extended it and then ran around the house with it and caught it on something. Um, so let's go over the basic features here. It's not a very big radio. I'm looking to see if I have something worthwhile to compare it to. Um, so, a little bit longer than what I would think of as a pocket radio. Certainly thicker. Right? I don't know how well that shows up, but definitely thicker. Um, so another comparison here is, I have an iPhone, right? So kind of compare it to that. Almost the same length. And this isn't any crazy iPhone, just an iPhone 15. Um, Not quite as tall as the iPhone. Radio wise, I'd have to go grab something else, but it's not as bulky as like the CC Radio Solar, but it probably stands the same height. Actually, let me go grab that. Hold on here. Here we go. Here is the CC Radio Solar. You can see that width-wise, this is a touch longer, but not too far off. If you're looking at them from thickness, this isn't quite as thick as the Radio Solar, and it's not as tall. Also, throw in the Goods radio that I put up a video of a week or so ago. Give you an idea what that looks like. So, let me get these out of the way. So, let's take a quick look at the features here on this radio. So, it's got two speakers. They're on the side. Interestingly, the the Amazon listing says this is a mono radio, but so if those are two speakers, I'm not sure why it would be mono. Two little rubber stoppers there, which I only point out because it does seem like it could be a little tippy, but I haven't really had a problem with that yet. Looking at the back here, you have a battery cover. This comes with, I guess that's an 18650 battery. So it comes with a battery. It's replaceable, right? I like that. If you're going to have a rechargeable battery, I like it to be replaceable. Unfortunately, it doesn't work on double A's. I really like a replaceable battery, but then also the ability to take like standard double A's or something and power it from that as well. You can see on the back there is an on and off switch. Here's the USB-C, to charge up that battery. Headphone jack, USB jack, and then a micro SD card slot. Trying to decide if I want to nitpick now or wait till later. Up top, you have the buttons to tune this in. Let me try to. So there you go. Top row is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mode, and then play pause. The bottom row is 6, 7, 8, 9 0, and then you have the ability to go and reverse a track or forward a track, or you can use those same buttons for volume, which is a little annoying. I wish they had just given you separate volume buttons. If I put this radio like this, I don't know, I mean, holding it up, I think, just by looking, it looks like you could read those pretty clearly, but if I put it like this, I don't know if you could read those. And this is probably my first nitpick with the radio. This is how you tune this radio in. But those buttons are very tough to read. If the light isn't just right, I find, at least I should say maybe I find them very tough to read. They're shiny. If they were black with white, that would be great. I mean, it could be that I, sometimes have to use these things, but I just put them on. It's not a situation where there's, small font and it's tough to read. It's a situation that they're just tough to read. And yeah, I guess you should say 1, 2, 3. You can kind of figure that out, but I find it kind of an annoying way to tune the radio. And yes, you can use these buttons here to go up or down the channel, up or down the dial, but yeah, I find it just sort of an unsatisfying way to have to tune in the radio. Maybe I just wish there was a dial or something else to tune it in by. The next thing is you have those buttons here, but then on the back you have this power button, which is in a kind of an awkward spot. It's really close to the antenna base. It's easy enough to put on, but it's also, if you have the antenna up, sort of in the way. So I just feel like that's a bad design. And then I'll show you in a minute, but if you want to use a thumb drive in this, I feel it kind of, maybe it doesn't really make the radio tippy because of how much does a thumb drive weigh, but it feels a little awkward. But the antenna's in the way. You can't have the antenna there. Now, maybe if you had one of those thumb drives that are almost flush, they almost look like the dongle that comes with a USB mouse or something, maybe that would work better for this radio. But again, I just find the placement of this, even though it's a fairly compact radio, I find the placement of this to be kind of disappointing. So sound-wise, I don't think the sound is really that bad.
FM radio.
Now I gotta watch out because, hold it down long enough, and what you get is volume.
If I may, like, interject. She, like, you have no idea. Like,
interjected, so you have inclination towards forgiveness, or at least
So,
maybe anti-killing that person.
little talk radio. Volume right now is fairly low.
By manipulating them, they're going to forget about it 5 minutes after the movie's over. So we have to be responsible to those parents of those people that lost the children, and remind the
This is
audience at the
one
end,
of those stations
remember
that
this is why he's here. Okay. Then if they
one of those stations
after this
try to show
the
off
same way, then we've
how long that antenna mast is. This is one of the stations that I find that if I'm not using the antenna,
you can do it. It's so
I'm
easy
not
to
getting
do.
great reception.
But it's more difficult to.
Nope. I may need to have charged this.
FM radio.
Sides to have dignity. Once you're there, it's my belief, that's when real discussions happen. Well,
This is the station I normally don't get clearly. It's not a bad sounding little radio for what it is. And it certainly would be the right size for someone's desk or something else. Could be a travel radio, could be a desk radio, could maybe be a great little radio to keep in bedside, especially if it had that clock. Let me
USB.
I don't want to go too long because I don't want to get any copyright issues. Yeah, it's I haven't tried Bluetooth. Shame on me, I should have before I did this video, but I haven't tried Bluetooth with it. The sound isn't bad. I really wish I had the clock. Like I said, shame on me, not paying enough attention to the ad. But the picture looked like a clock. I thought it had a clock. I think if it did, it's got that red LED display. Kind of goes back to, I guess the alarm clocks that everybody had in like maybe the late 70s and all through the 80s and stuff. But if it did, I think it'd be a great little travel radio. But it doesn't. It still wouldn't be a bad travel radio, but it's certainly not one that you're going to bring with you and pop on the night table at the hotel or something because it's a clock, an alarm clock, and all that other stuff. But the sound's decent, for the size. I think it's decent sounding. My problem with this more than anything else is I think the form factor is just not great, right? I mean, the red display's cute and all, but the buttons on top I think are annoying. I think there are other radios somewhere in the same price point with a digital display that do the tuning better than this. Have like a regular keypad or something that's easier to see. They're probably a little bit bigger, right? But still in the same price range. I think the power switch is in an awkward location. I think I think the USB slot is in an awkward location, or maybe the reality is the antenna is in an awkward location, right? If this antenna was mounted up top, it wouldn't be an issue. So for 1999, let's see, for 1999, I'm trying to think really quickly. I mean, honestly, let me get it in frame here. The Goods was under $19.99. I think that was like $17. And yeah, there's a part of me that likes analog, prefers analog to digital, so maybe that's part of it. But I find the Goods has better reception. It has internal battery, which unfortunately, if you want to replace it, I imagine you'd need to get a screwdriver and open up the radio and figure out how you would do that. But It's got an internal battery. It's got the ability to use AAA's on top of the internal battery. Um, it does Bluetooth, but it does not do no, it doesn't do the USB, but it would do a micro SD card, right? Um, I think it's a good sounding radio. So for a little bit less money, I actually like that radio a lot more. Um, I would say, like this doesn't have a backlit dial, which I don't know why like every radio doesn't have a backlit dial, because I've seen some pretty inexpensive radios where they've managed to put one in. Um, so it seems to me like, if a radio I bought for $15 and have a backlit dial and do USB and Bluetooth and MP3, then really any radio at that price point should probably be able to do that. Um, and I would almost say, well, at least on this one, the display lights up, so at night, you could tune in, but you got to try to navigate these stupid buttons. And if you're in a low light situation, I mean, if you get these, you can go up and down the dial, but it doesn't seem to seek or scan. So I have to go back and look at the manual. But when I tried to do it just now, if you hold it down too long, it turns into the volume. So I really don't know what else to say about it. I don't know if it's fair for me not to like it, but it's a radio that the minute I unboxed it, I sort of was disappointed by. And the interesting thing is the radio behind it, I really didn't expect to like all that much, and ended up liking it a lot, right? Um, but so here it is. It's the Semier SM615. It's a compact, rechargeable, FM, Bluetooth, USB, micro SD card. Uh, it's a nice sounding radio, but it's FM only. It doesn't have a built-in alarm clock, which I thought it did. I find the layout to be less than ideal. The buttons that tune it in are sort of a pain. I would rather have, some sort of knob that let me, go up and down the dial, or maybe just better buttons, right? But it's definitely not the worst radio I've ever seen. Um, it picks up stations, although I think some of the ones that I normally can pull in without an antenna, I need the antenna here. Like I said, it sounds decent. I know I've said that a few times already. Replaceable, rechargeable battery. So, if you like the style, um, and you're going to leave it on one station, then it's going to sit on your desk or something. This might be a nice little radio to pick up. But this is in that really tough price point where there's an awful lot of radios in that sort of that same price bracket. You had the goods here, but for just a little bit more, there's the Prunus J160, which I love the style of that. That offers AM/FM shortwave, Bluetooth, USB, TF card. The one drawback is it's got a rechargeable battery, but it's not replaceable. So, this certainly isn't the worst radio to buy, but I just think in that price bracket, there's radios I would suggest way over this one. That's all I got. Thanks for watching.